Ellen. Okay. Welcome to the League of Women Voters 2022 annual meeting. And we've gone through the nonpartisan statement, and now we will do the approval of the annual meeting minutes, and Alice will conduct that.
Okay, the last year's 2021 annual meeting minutes were read by two readers, Paul Spencer and Lucy Linden, and both submitted emails approving the minutes with a couple of minor corrections which were made before they were sent out. Are there any further corrections? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I'll second.
And that was Libby,
Yes.
and
Ann.
second was
Ann.
Ann. Is there anyone opposed to approving the meetings? The minutes, sorry. Hearing no opposition, the minutes have been approved by acclamation.
All right. Thank you,
We are
Alice.
done.
All right. So now that brings us to our annual. What?
But we need two readers for this year's minutes.
Oh.
And your job will be, once Bobby and I have worked on the minutes and have them as correct as possible, you'll be asked to read them and submit a statement by email approving them, and of course, submit any corrections, additions, etc. Then we'll keep your statements, and next year this will make approving the minutes much easier than everybody reading them a year later and saying, I don't know, I don't remember. So do I have any volunteers to read this year's minutes for next year?
I'm happy to do that, Alice, Tricia.
Okay. I need another one.
I can do it. That's Noel.
Readers, Tricia, and Noel. Thank you, guys. You'll be hearing from me.
Thank you, Alice.
Now, Bobby,
Thank you, Alice.
yours.
Okay, so now as we go through our business meeting, we have a very important step, and that is the election of our officers. Are there any nominations from the floor for any of our executive committee positions?
Don't be shy.
There's room. We're looking for but you'll notice we're looking for a third officer here.
All right.
And we should note that Mary Collins has offered to be on the an executive officer, if someone else would be the secretary. And Paul Spencer and I have offered to mentor the secretary and be backup secretary. So you would not have to go to every meeting. You would have some help.
Going once. Going twice. Okay, looks like there will be two executive officers. So
Couldn't we fill the third one as the year progresses, Bobby, since the idea is to split the year into three pieces?
of course we can. You can designate another officer. The other two can designate another officer in their absence, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I think we should do that.
okay. Hopefully there will be a bright star that comes whizzing through and decides that they would like to take some leadership here. Okay, so I would like to entertain a vote for Ann Lewis and Tricia Grantham as our two executive officers. Do I hear any discussion on this? How am I doing? How do you want to do this, Alice? You're the one you're the rules maven. Okay, so maybe we should have Ann and Tricia give us a minute, couple of sentences. Ann, what do you want to say about yourself? You're muted. Yeah, there you go.
No,
Now you're muted.
How about now?
Good.
I'm not sure why I'm so big.
Good.
So my name is Ann Lewis, and I've been a league member probably for 10 years, I think. And I've served as voter editor and former Observer Corps chair. And I'm looking forward to spending more time with Trisha and also Mary and Sue. And it'll be I don't know if this is what you want to hear, but it will be an interesting year as we transition in. And ideally, this is to be discussed later, we might be able to move some meetings back in person, which at the May board meeting, we'd like to chat with people about, particularly the board meeting. And just know that we're open to ideas about how things are run, about what we want to be doing. And I really strongly hope that people participate and try new things. We're going to make an effort throughout the year to kind of always be open to people's questions or, wanting to try new things. So it's not, like we get closer to the end of the year and we're trying to fill positions. We really hope people are interested and ask questions, and that there is some movement in the position so people get to try new things. And just we're stronger as a group. So I think it'll be fun, and I'll turn it over to Trisha. Thank you.
Gosh, yeah, I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum from Anne, because I am new to the league as of October of last year. I feel like, definitely an affiliation, because the league represents a lot of interests of mine and a lot of advocacy work that I believe in. So it wasn't a difficult decision to become a member. And I think I have served in leadership roles in our community, and I feel like perhaps I can be helpful. And I'm going to be very reliant on these women that serve on the executive committee to lead me through some things. I don't know what I don't know at this point, but I'm certainly very happy to learn and to absorb and to lead us, forward into the future. I am extremely impressed with all the things that the league is involved with and supports. And so I think increasing membership is certainly something we want to look toward. And it's a group that I've respected for a very long time. So thank you for your vote of confidence, and off we go.
Thanks, Tricia. So do I hear all those in favor to elect these two?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any in
Aye.
opposition? Raise your hand. Hearing none, it's unanimous. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the lead. Our next candidates, hopefully you have your agenda in front of you. I'm just going to call the names, and that will be Mary Collins as secretary. Mary, anything you want to say about becoming secretary?
Well, I hope everyone will lower their expectations. I'll never be able to do the job that Alice has done, but I look forward to working closely with the new officers and really look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Do I hear a vote of confidence for Mary Collins? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Aye.
Kelly.
Any opposition? No opposition, unanimous. You're a shoo-in, Mary. Okay, and then Sue Hance will be our treasurer. Sue, do you have any words of wisdom?
No words of wisdom, but especially interested in any comments and so on from league members. I luck out because Shelley has promised to be near her phone and computer that I can ask any kind of a question I need to. So I promise the materials will be balanced, and I will not travel out of the country during the time period, with league money anyway.
Okay. Do I see any opposition to Sue's position as treasurer? Hearing none, everything else is a yes. So you're in, Sue. Congratulations and thank you for stepping up.
Sure.
One thing I want to say about these offices, it's really good to turn over leadership. And I think I just think it makes a stronger organization, honestly. And so if it doesn't have to be a long commitment. There's a spot for you where you can help us with this and you can learn a lot. I've learned a whole lot in the last 3 years. So, and you don't have to do 3 years. Most people don't do 3 years, but we did have a pandemic in there. So there was a lot of things that kind of had to just keep going.
Well,
Okay.
I'll interrupt right at this point because I cannot imagine ever being able to learn as much as you did in those 3 years. I'm just awestruck and probably panicky that I would ever have to follow you in that position. But congratulations, you're wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Sue. Very nice. I did learn a lot and it was also a lot of fun, but I had a lot of help. So thank you for
I think we
all
all
of those.
second that.
Oh,
Thank you, Bobby. It's been great to have you this past 3 years.
Thank you as I take my final bow. So we are going to continue on with our business meeting and that's our year-end treasury report. So Shelley, is there anything I need to share or do you have the document?
I do have the document. Can I
do the
share?
share
Oh, and I
screen.
can share.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You're probably smarter than I am.
I don't know. I'll be honest, I'm still learning the share screen thing on Zoom.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Do you guys see where it says, I'm going to scroll up slowly. There.
I see
Do you see
something.
the
Yep.
LWV? It says general. It should not say budget at the end. That was my mistake.
Yep. That's good.
So anyway, okay. And so this is actually as of the end of March. We've had very little activity since March. It's been pretty insignificant. I did put in some estimates for the big items, and as we scroll down, you'll see that those have asterisks next to them. And so let's see. So we had dues totaling at the end of March of $3,857, general fund donations of $3,544, and that's all donations throughout the year, including if someone sometimes includes a donation with their membership. And sometimes we'll go out and do a form. And can someone mute, please? I'm hearing like paper rustle or something. Anyway, so it's all donation. It's not just the fund drive, the finance drive. So we had total income of just over $7,400. Our expenses are, we have a PO box rental. The venue expense this year was just a donation to the library. And then the technology was for Zoom this year. The miscellaneous, had to go back and look this up, we had to buy some new checks and we had some printing for the Centennial Awards. So I didn't really have another place to put that. So that went into miscellaneous. Our finance drive cost us $249. Our community update, $460, Chamber of Commerce dues. Another new line item this year is the Washington Secretary of State filing. We're required to file that going forward. So that's the new line. It won't be as much next year because that includes the initial filing fee. So when we come down to travel, you'll see the asterisks by the travel. And that's because both the travels happen in June. And so for National Convention this year, we'll actually be under on our travel. Thanks to having a credit on our airlines from not being able to travel in 2020. Thank you very much, Bobby, for figuring that out. And then also Paul has generously offered to pay for his hotel to offset our expenses as well. Now for state council, we are, I'll be honest, significantly under budgeted to send 4 people to state council. And at the end of my presentation, I would really like someone to entertain a motion to increase this to, let me see. Well, increase it to a total of $1,650 to send all 4 delegates to council. And that's because hotel costs are up, and we have some transportation, and then also I would say the registration fees up a little bit for council as well. So we'll circle back to that. We have our PMP, which is our dues essentially that we pay to our per member payments to pay to national and state. And then under program, we have a little bit of printing fees and an ad in the Evergreen. So in total, our total expenses were $4,786. We came in the positive. And then we're estimated at having excess of, let's see, we'd have $6,000, and then that would include our $3,000 reserve at the end of this year. That's what I'm estimating. So we'll still have a healthy balance at the end of the year in our general fund. So before we move on to the Ed Fund, I know that was a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions on the general checking account?
The only question
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
is under expenses,
Yep.
we have printing for like stationery postcards as part of the finance drive to write thank yous?
If that would have been included in the finance drive
Oh,
up here,
okay.
$249.
Okay.
So, okay. Okay. And so our Ed Fund budget, or excuse me, our Ed Fund is, we are able to pay half of our national per member payment from our Ed Fund. And so we have that, it's paid in the fall. Typically in the summer, Deb buys some flags, excuse me, for voter service. And so none of these have actually happened yet. I just have a star by it. Our national convention, that's what we were budgeted at. And then for our educational program, the $750 is what the board approved as a budget item for the, it'll come to me. Visual arts project. So our total expenses, and we did have 805 donations into that this year. That includes mostly finance drive, but also a few that just come in throughout the year. So we did spend more than we took in the Ed Fund, but that's pretty typical. So I am estimating that our Ed Fund carryover 630 would be $3,200 as a balance. So our balances right now, as of this afternoon, in the Ed Fund, we have $5,169. And in the checking account, we have $11,388. So we are still sitting very healthy as far as our accounts are concerned. I know if you're new, some of this is can be, I'm going to actually stop sharing. Can be kind of confusing when we're talking like Ed Fund and General Fund, and I am more than happy to answer questions at any point in time. So if you ever want to kind of dig into it a little bit more. Does anyone have any questions about the Ed Fund though tonight? Okay.
My question is,
Yeah.
can we spend that for going to council and?
Yeah, we can spend,
Conferences?
as I showed in the budget that I sent you for the travel, we can request 60% from the Ed Fund of all of our
that's right.
expenses for both council and convention. And we will
Okay.
be requesting that. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Do we want to circle back to requesting the increase on council, Bobby?
Yes.
Okay. And so again, we are requesting an additional $1,250 in order to send 4 delegates to Washington Council in Everett.
Now, does it, Tell me what that covers for each person.
Well, for me, it covers my hotel. And then for Deb, yourself, and Trisha, it would cover your hotel, your rental car expense, and your registration fees.
Okay,
This is Mary. I move to, that we add that to the budget.
Second,
Yeah, move that we add the 1250 to the budget for council so that the 4 members can go and have their expenses paid for.
okay. I've got one question though. Shelley, is your
Yeah.
hotel your housing being paid for by? your
I'm
position?
sharing with Deb.
Oh, you're sharing with Deb. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, good.
So-
We have 2 rooms reserved now. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's got their expenses covered though. That's what I wanted to make sure.
so and the registration fee includes some meals also.
Right. Yes.
Yes. It includes, I think, let's see, Friday night dinner, Saturday lunch, Saturday dinner, and I think that's it. It might include some coffee, but it doesn't include breakfast. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we need a vote?
Yeah, so there is a
There-
motion on the floor from Mary, and I think someone did second it.
I did.
Okay.
Sue.
Okay, Sue seconded it.
Is there any more discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Do I hear any opposition? None whatsoever. So thank you very much for sending us off to learn some more things about the League of Women Voters and to interact with some really cool women. So
I just want to make a point of clarification. The reason that it was so low was because
yeah.
2 years ago, when we made this budget, and then they changed at convention, how many delegates, the way things are done at council. Meaning we could send twice as many delegates as when we originally budgeted. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Deb, for adding that.
thanks, Deb.
Sense.
And Bobby, I just wanted to add that this is a very healthy budget that was just reported for 2 reasons. Because we've not been allowed to travel for 2 years, and you can see how expensive it is to send people to these conferences, so we didn't spend that money. But also because our membership has grown, right? And so some part of the dues that Becky and Megan are going to send to us gets to stay with us. A lot of it goes to the national organization in the state, but we get to keep some of it. So 2 reasons why our budget, and plus we had a successful finance drive. So we got
I'm going to
keep
say there
all
were
of that.
3 reasons.
Yeah, 3 reasons why here sitting in Pullman, Washington, we have money to spend. Yeah,
But I want to add that the reason we had such a great finance drive is because Libby Walker knows how to raise money. So
Yep.
thank you,
Yeah.
Libby.
well,
And
you're welcome.
She does this amazing thing. She goes and asks people for money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Libby, for all
Okay.
your hard work. Okay, so let's see. I have Sarah Chapman on here, but we don't have her. So we just need to adopt this budget, right?
I'm right here, Bobby.
She's here.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
there.
Oh, you are. Yay. We have another person. Okay, we're at 19. Okay, so what do we do next? Sarah, you're in
Well-
charge.
Let me show you the budget for next year.
Make it bigger.
Make it bigger. I don't know how to do that.
Mm,
Did that make it bigger?
no.
No.
Oh, that made it smaller.
Did that make it bigger?
Yep, keep
Oh,
going.
good.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. I have to admit that it was a long time ago that I sat down with Shelley and Sue and talked about this. So Shelley might have to pop in and help me remember what some of the increases are for. So general fund will have $7,140 based on these estimates of dues and donations and the annual dinner. The operating expenses are pretty much the same, except for the venue has been increased and the technology budget has also been increased. Anybody have any questions about why?
The tech was increased, Sarah, to add Zoom into
Oh.
it officially this year.
Perfect.
And then the venue was increased
Donation to the
because
library.
we actually weren't sure if the Lentil Festival and or the Art Walk would increase their fees next year. And so that was the other reason we were kind of trying to hedge our bet on any other fee increases from the other organizations. So
Thank you, Shelley. So the estimation is $9,000 or $900 for overall operating costs. Administrative is staying about the same. The delegates is changing because it will not be national convention or state council. Will be state convention and action workshop. So the dollars for that is moving into a different line item. The national PMP and the state PMP are expected to increase a little bit. I think the hope is that we'll have an increase in membership.
Mhm.
The voter has a total of $5 for the small amount that still gets it mailed to them. The educational activities, because we're hoping for more in-person programs, we're going to increase that budget back up to what it used to be, as well as the voter service for a total of $750. So the guesstimation is $6,708 with a $432 cushion. Then the ed fund is changing just a little bit again because of hope for increased membership. And there will be hopefully a zero carryover. So that is the proposed budget for 2022-2023.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I have a question.
Yes.
Is the objective here to spend it down to zero?
are you asking about the which are you asking about, the ed fund?
Any of them?
Oh, just the actual dollars in the
Yeah, well, the ed
I
fund for
think no.
sure.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah. So how the ed fund, where am I? Oh, here. So so the income minus expenses with carryover comes to zero, and that's because of a carryover.
Okay.
Because
Right.
otherwise we're negative $1,102.
Oh,
Does that make more sense? So we typically spend more than we receive into the ed fund.
okay. Because we get donations, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. And do I hear a motion to adopt this budget?
I'll give you a motion.
Everybody got muted, by the way, so unmute yourself.
I move to adopt the budget.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Who was that?
Trisha.
Okay, Tricia. Okay, Joe, I'm going to do it this way. Do I hear any opposition to this budget? We can unshare now.
Are you all right?
Okay, I hear no opposition to this budget, so the budget passes. Okay, let's do the bylaws next, and this will be pretty quick. Give me just a second to open it. Okay. All right, there it is. Well, there it was. Where'd it go? Okay. I'm going to share. Nope, wrong one. Sorry. Got too many things open is the problem. This is the one I want. Bylaws. Yeah, this should be bylaws. Okay, there we go. I clicked on it. All right, sure. Are you seeing, what are you seeing? Are
You.
just me?
Just you.
That's not so good. All right, hold on. Okay. I'm gonna do I'm going to open this one more time. Editing, okay. Do you see that?
Not yet.
Jeez, where is it? All right, I'm going to try this a different way. Let's see, screen 2. And we'll do it this way. Let's see. Oh, this is a drag. What about that one? Is that it?
No.
Is- Hold on. It was open, but I'm going to try one more time. Share screen, and I'm going to go here. Here, share screen. Okay. What? Do you see it now?
I see a list.
How about there? Do you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
I've got 2 screens going here. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So these are our bylaws. And we, in writing an article about the league, our league as we're a league of the whole. And so our memberships are all voting members. Our members are. And so Judy and I noticed that our language was a little awkward here. And so we wanted to clean it up. And so these are the proposed changes in red. And this is how it will read. And so I'll read it in the blue. So we'll read as follows. The elections shall be written by written ballot, show of hands, or verbal roll call tally, provided that there is but one nominee for an office. The secretary may be instructed to cast the ballot or vote cast the ballot / vote for that nominee. A majority vote of those members who are eligible to vote, present and voting, shall constitute an election. Absentee or proxy voting shall not be permitted. So there was just really awkward wording. So we cleaned that up, and that's what I would like to pass as the final. Any questions?
Bobby, that under quorum, there's a date change, January 31.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Right.
Sorry.
In
January
two-
31, right, under quorum.
Yeah. Actually,
I think
places.
Judy had it January 1. And it didn't, then she checked with national or with the state, and it was 31. Yeah, thank you, Wanda. Any other?
Yeah, it's in another place too, but it's just a date change. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
it was, yeah, it's somewhere in here.
Mhm.
I'm curious about something. This is Karen. I'm not
Yeah.
showing my because it's been a long day, but why may absentee ballots not be cast?
Because we feel, I think, that, you don't participate, you don't get to vote. You show up to the meeting, you can be part of the vote. You can vote, but you need to participate. If you want to, we have 80 members now. And how many people are in attendance at this meeting?
About 20.
Okay, that's not bad. But imagine if we, it'd be great if we had 80, but nonetheless, our opinion, historically, I think and I should have Alice speak to this. You want to talk to this, Alice?
I just wondered if that was a leftover thing from a long ago bylaw, or if it was something that was still the view of the league. So I'm happy with your answer. I was just wondering. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, that was a good question. Thank you.
Does that mean that if we had only had 18 people today, we would not have been able to elect officers?
Yes.
No, we could have with 18 if we had only had
17.
17, we could not have elected officers, but
Right.
that's only for the annual meeting.
Okay. That particular situation only happens at our meeting, then the one meeting. The
Well,
quorum
no,
being,
right, for
Oh.
nominations and elections, but I believe up here someplace else that, I gotta find it. I think it's in 3. Okay, so, give me just a minute. There's another place that says you have to have, when you have a vote, it's a vote of all the of all the members that are present.
okay.
I gotta find it though. Yeah. So it's like be there, or be square, you know, you gotta be there to get your voice out there. I can't find it right now. I'll look for it later, or somebody else can dig
Okay.
around in here and try to find it. Sound good?
And I'll just note the majority of things that League does is, interestingly enough, not voted, not counting hands, but we work with consensus,
Yeah.
And discussion. So I think it truthfully is something that doesn't come up,
Okay, good.
very often. Mhm.
You just see, what you're looking for, Bobby, is Article 7, the very last, Section 3, quorum. We've gone a little too
7, I
far.
went, yes, I
7.
went too far. 7, 7, 7. Why can't I find 7?
Oh, just go down. Yeah, there you go.
There you
There
are,
you
you're
go.
almost
Section
there.
3,
On this
okay.
page. Section
Quorum.
3,
Oh, quorum, right here.
Yeah.
yeah,
1/4 of the paid membership shall constitute a quorum. That's at the annual meeting. Okay, here it is. 5 members shall constitute a quorum at all other meetings. Okay.
There. Oh, that's what I needed. Thank you.
And what it means, 5 members means the executive board normally, I guess, but anyway, 5 members. So you have to have at least 5. Okay,
Super.
great. Okay, any more questions? It is
So-
about having conversation and discussion,
So
truly.
Bobby, given, I think I'm unmuted. Oh, yeah. Given that statement, does that mean that that the executive committee can act on behalf of the membership?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Like say we're not meeting during, June or August or whatever. So we could act on behalf of the membership. Is that what that's saying?
well, you only have
Yeah.
4 members, right? Do you have 5? You only have 4.
Well, we don't yet.
Yeah, if you had 5, you could.
Okay.
yep, get the voter services chair to join you and you've got 5.
Yeah, right.
So that's on, many leagues just have a board made up of of secretary, treasurer, presidents or co-presidents, and 3 or 4 delegates selected in various ways. So normally a relatively small number do act on behalf of the whole league. The annual meeting is the only exception, and that's why the quorum is so high there.
Okay.
It's the one time that we really encourage everybody to get involved.
Yeah. Good.
And I want to add one other thing is, and I know I related this to a lot at a recent board meeting, but we have an article in the recent Voter, if you want to read about that, about this whole thing of the concept of the board of a whole, the board of a whole. But that, which is what the Pullman League is, but apparently not all the other leagues are like that, which I did not know. And they were saying how they had so much trouble with people having a quorum to be able to pass a vote. And I go, well, aren't you, I can't remember how it all came about, but anyway, I said, but aren't you a board of the whole? So whoever's there gets to vote. And there was this long silence and they were dumbfounded. They go, what do you mean? And I said, well, I thought we were all a board of the whole. And anyway, so then they asked me to write an article about it. So I did, and it's in the Voter and you can read about it. There you go. So do we, yes.
Bobby, if I can say one thing, actually, all leagues started out as a board of executive officers plus 4 or 5 other board members. And we changed, I believe in the early 80s when our membership became very low and there were only 15 or 20 members. But as our membership has increased, it's worked. So we've never changed back.
Great. I like it. I love the concept. Okay, so can we adopt this and keep moving?
Yep, yes.
Okay. Do I hear any objection to these changes in the bylaws? Hearing none, going once, going twice, they pass. Okay, state delegates, council delegates. We need to figure that out, right? We don't know who our delegates are at the council, or is it going to be just all of us? Can somebody enlighten me on this? Shelley, you're the,
Bobby, that's the thing we're going to over in Everett for myself and you and Trisha and Deb.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
the
so that's the
four of us are
delegates.
delegates. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's Shelley Jones, Trisha Grantham, Bobby Ryder, and Deb Olson.
So at the MELD meeting today, we were asked if our delegates have all registered because the deadline is closing. Have all four of you registered?
We have indeed.
Good. That's what I
Yeah.
assumed. Okay.
Yep.
Good. All right, so that's that. So, oh, wait, I gotta unshare. Sorry about that. Stop share. Just speak up. Tell me, drive this thing, do it the right way. So I want to move on to the year in review. And I'm going to stay, whoopsie. Makes me nervous when you hear that. Okay. I'm going to go back to screen share, and this will be a very quick PowerPoint. I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to try. No, I can't open it there. Okay, so we're going to go off of screen 2, which is unfortunate because it doesn't work as well. But anyhow, share. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, just a minute. How about that?
Yes.
Look good? Okay.
Yes.
So here we are at our annual business meeting. I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible. I have lots of slides, but I will fly through them. But feel free to jump in and say anything that you, add anything if you would like. It will not hurt my feelings. Or if I get somebody's name wrong or what have you, or I leave somebody out, please take my apologies. So there we are in little Pullman, Washington. And if you see things in here that you like, this was going to be my sales pitch. Please become a member. And, but hey, Libby did a great job for me, so thank you. So the Observer Corps, I want to start with this one because this is a biggie. Judy Stone is our team leader on this, and she is amazing. I really think that I wouldn't want her job, but she does an incredible job, and has won awards for her work. So in the city of Pullman, we observe, and the Observer Corps goes, that has a person, they go to meetings, they take notes, they just listen, they sit there as a member of the League of Women Voters. In fact, we used to have pins that we put on that said we were from the League, and we're supposed to be quiet, basically, except to maybe ask a question to clarify something. But City of Pullman, there are 7 agencies and there's 9 different observers. And in the county, there's 4 agencies with 6 different observers. And she puts out a calendar like this every month. And so you can see how busy we are with people observing and reporting back what went on at those meetings. So in 2019, we were, just take January, for example, we were 39%. In 2020, we went up to 63% attendance and reporting on these meetings. And in 2021, we were at 75%, but it kind of went up and down, you know, like here, we went up to 100 and now we're down to 75 in June. So, you know, it varied, but nonetheless, we've been increasing, and we've also lost a couple of observers. So we are looking for some more observers. Here's who we have. We have the Arts Commission is Uda. But they haven't met since 2021, and we don't know what the future of that committee is. The City Council has been Libby Walker, and then it was Ann Lewis and Karen Hardy as backup. And you see these two little dots or stars here. It says looking for a new person. So we need an observer for the city council. So think about what you see in this PowerPoint and think about if you can make this kind of a contribution. The library board is Francie, Pablos Bose, and Ann Lewis has been the backup, and Francie has said she'd like to, have somebody else do it, but she's okay. So we're staying with her. But if somebody would like to do the library, terrific. Planning Commission, Helen, and then it was Jessica Castleman, and I think that's pretty good right now. Regional Airport, Linus Boyer-Watts has been terrific, and the Regional Hospital, Judy Stone's been good. I mean, they've all been good, but School Board, Carol Nabuki has really brought a lot of things to our attention. And the County Commissioners has been Paul Spencer, then Mary Collins, and County Planning Commission, Shelley Chambers Fox, which has been important during the comprehensive plan. And then at the port, we look 2 stars. We need replacement. It has been Carol and Jocelyn Jones who did incredible. And Kim Thompson. Kim, are you still going to some of the port meetings? Is she still here?
No, Kimberly's not going. And I thought Paul has been taking over for a little bit.
I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Paul's not on, so we'll have to check on that. So thanks. And then SWAC is Deb, and she seems to be good. So there's our list. And this is actually an old picture, but I think it has most people that have, Libby's no longer city council. But anyway, there's their smiley faces, and thank you for everything that you all do. And here's Judy down here. Okay, so that brings us to, we're going to start kind of a sequence of what we did through the last year. Our program planning meeting was last June 29th, and it was at Mary Collins's house. And here's Mary Collins, the ever shrinking Mary Collins. And here is this incredible spread of a buffet of salads. We had a potluck and took this super picture, and you will see it a few times in this presentation. The great thing about Mary's house is she has a lovely, lovely patio. And she see this there, she has a swimming pool. So we get to sit outside and dangle our feet in the water. And there's Libby, and there's Judy, and there's yours truly, Anne, Susan, and yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I recommend it. In fact, it was Mary's planning meeting that actually hooked me into the league. I remember Libby driving me out there and telling and telling me all kinds of things that I was overwhelmed by. It was really great. So and then I stayed around. So the result of that meeting is this thing called our it's always a draft program calendar. And so this is the one for 2021. I don't know which number we're on in this one exactly, but you'll see it's obvious. We had things like you end up with a TBD, to be determined, because we haven't filled that out yet. So there's some holes in it, but by and large, we try to get as much flushed out as we can so we can start inviting people to come and speak and to obligate to being part of all of our programs. And I tell you, we have really had some tremendous programs this year, just wonderful. So we now have our new website is up and running, and this is your opening page here. And these guys, these are the ones, this is the magic behind the curtain. This is Paul Spencer, Helen Katniss, Carolyn Joswick Jones, our social media chair, and Leah Zulas. And these guys really have done a terrific job and keep the website up and running. And we are so fortunate to have them. So thank you for what you all you have done. 4th of July, we normally hand out flags. We march in the Johnson Parade. We put on our straw hats, as you see in these ladies here. We even have sashes that we wear, and we hand out little 4th of July flags. So when that comes around, when the call for that happens, we also usually put little, like a little strip of paper on there that says, join the League of Women Voters, and we put our contact information on there. And they're very popular, I might add. So in July 17th, 2021, we were asked by Malden, where the big fire was, to come up and help them with their candidate forum. There were 7 candidates running for 3 positions in a population of 300 people. So you can imagine that there was a lot going on in Malden that people weren't happy about, because they'd lost their houses and they weren't getting results fast enough, in their opinion. Some of them. So I mean, it was such a fascinating forum. And here's Deb, and she just did a great job facilitating that. Deb, do you have anything to offer there?
Not really. I thought it went really well by sticking everybody on the table at once.
Yeah.
Even though there are 3 separate positions, because when you're trying to fill a city council position, essentially the questions that come at you from the audience are the same regardless of the positions. So there's no reason why we can't have everybody at the table at once. And it was a very good program. The good audience, a lot of good back and forth.
Good.
There was
Thank
some
you.
surprising language that I just went, okay, I can deal with this. But yeah, no, it was great. I thought it was and they really liked us having us there. So that's nice too.
Yeah. This isn't a real great picture of the audience, but there were about 25 people there. There were more. Yeah, this was an early photo. Anyway, so it was held in the park because of COVID.
Well, they have no city hall or any public
buildings and they
buildings
don't
yet
have
either.
a place, right? I don't know where they're meeting for city hall. They have something, but
It's a
anyway.
trailer.
Oh, it's a trailer. That's right. That's right. So our we have a back to league meeting at the beginning of September, and this was Sue Guyette speaking about the Good Food Co-op. We learned that they do have a site identified. There's no date for when the building will be under construction. They're working on a design feasibility study for the site, but they have a consultant to do that, but they're waiting on the owner to reply. And the other punch for them is that the membership, they were hoping they'd be at 800. They are currently at 722. So if you feel inclined to join the Good Food Co-op, if they don't get the project accomplished, you do get your money back. So in September, we were asked by the Palouse Conservation District. They actually are a public body and they have an election. And so we needed to, they needed a third party to count the ballots, and Jody Prout contacted me and Libby and I did this. And it was a lot of, it was fast, it was easy, it was fun, and it made a difference to them, because actually the last time they had election before us, there was a judge that said they didn't try hard enough and they made them go back and do the election again. So they needed to prove that they had tried hard enough. Anyway, we got this lovely handwritten letter. There's something magical about getting a handwritten note, and so I wanted to put that in the slide. And it's kind of a lost art, right? And then Trisha and Krista Gross were there in February, and those guys got these cool bags. So when it comes up again, think about getting a shopping bag. So then that we had in September 21st was the Pullman Downtown Association, and Jean Weiler was our speaker. And Jean is in the president's office and has been coordinating with the chamber, Marie at the chamber, and with the city, and working toward making our downtown, we're moving in the direction of becoming a Main Street city, we hope. But there are many, many hoops to jump through before you get to be there. So at any rate, this was her presentation, and I'm not quite sure why we had the pictures of the trestle, except this that looks pretty cool, right? Having lights on our bridges in the downtown. So shout out again to Carolyn for, she would throw out these great things like Indigenous Peoples Day, which growing up, I didn't know about that. But it's the second Monday in October. I think it used to be Columbus Day when I grew up. And so they have renamed that, thankfully. And she would put these things out on Facebook and social media. And it was really, I tell you, I don't think I could have done this PowerPoint if it wasn't for Carolyn's work. We had candidate forums in October. The first one was the Pullman Hospital District 1A with Tricia Grantham and Reed West. And here's Tricia, here's Reed. And I will say that that was probably one of the more unusual candidate forums that I've ever observed. And we'll leave it at that. And then we had Megan, who you know, and she'll speak later tonight. And then we had on Thursday, we had Francis Benjamin, Al Sorensen, whoops, didn't spell Al's name right. And then Nathan Roberts and Carolina Silva. So good discussions and forums. And good attendance at those, by the way. So another thing that the voter services is so good at is tabling. And I believe that's Paul Spencer.
Yes.
And is that Carol Natabuki? And who's that?
That was one of the new members. I can't
Honeywell,
remember.
Honeywell.
Honeywell, yeah.
Amy. That was Amy.
Amy,
Okay,
yeah.
great. I did not know we had this fabulous sign here. So that's very
That
cool.
actually is the Center for Civic Engagement sign.
All right. Let's dig it. That's very nice.
I plan to create one for us, be a voter one for the
Okay.
league.
Well,
But
we can work on
That's
that.
forthcoming this summer, yeah.
And then again, more of Carolyn's work. I mean, look at this fabulous. I mean, if I had a mailbox like that, and then I know what my ballot looks like, it's like I'd go out and vote right away. I mean, it's just so beautiful, the colors, and I'd go and stick it in one of these official drop boxes. So lots of information that was on social media and on our website. So then let's see, this was, what was the date on this one? This one was,
I don't remember.
that was October 19th. This was the Elections Misinformation Project, or Election Credibility Project. Linnea Hurst was our speaker down here. And she was great. There's there was so much misinformation out there. That's no surprise. But how to spot it, where to look for correct information, and trying to keep it on a high note of what the league is doing to provide accurate information to voters. So this presentation, if you're interested, all of our presentations that have been recorded are on our website. Then on November 4th, we have an unusual opportunity, and that we had two comprehensive plans this last year. The city was doing an update to their comprehensive plan, and the county, Whitman County, is doing an update to their comprehensive plan. And so having both of these agencies working toward collaborative goals, I guess I'd like to say, was really great. And we had RJ Lott and Alan Thompson, both planners from both agencies. And so that was that. I will add that, I'm going to go back. I will add that Whitman County will be having a public hearing about their comprehensive plan June 21st, and then they hope to adopt it. So here we are back at Malden. We were so impressed with Malden, Deb and I were, that we decided to invite Mayor Dan Harwood, who won the election, to come and speak. So this is what the post office looked like before September 2020, and this is what it looked like September 2020 during the fire, all ablaze. And this is what the town looked like afterward, pretty flattened. That was after the cleanup, actually. So Malden was founded in 1909, so it's got deep roots in Eastern Washington. And so it was really great to hear Dan talk about what it was like before, and then what it meant going through that whole experience. And I think I know one person, at least maybe two, actually wrote checks toward their relief fund as a result of his down home talk. And then in December, we had a superstar. We had Bob Ferguson, Attorney General Bob Ferguson, speaking. We asked him to speak about the missing, murdered, and Indigenous women, and also about the opioid, his big farm, Purdue Pharma battle. And he did, and he's such a nice guy. And whoops, I want to add to that you probably all know this, but he recently announced that he has won a legal resolution of $500 million for the Washingtonians, and being paid by the three largest opioid distributors, McKesson, Cardinal, and AmerisourceBergen. So pretty big deal, and all of that money will go into helping the state find relief and programs for victims of this crisis. In January 6th, Paul Spencer coordinated we always have an annual planning meeting. This has to do with state or national. It alternates years. So this year it was national. And then he wrote a very brief report, but basically there's a four-pronged campaign for making democracy work. And so they reaffirmed that they support that. And then that our group wanted stronger emphasis on promoting actions to prevent climate change and to mitigate future effects. Strong public education effort included. And then we highlighted our work to support making democracy work. And these are some of the, our task force on suicide prevention, public banks in Washington, ranked choice voting, and so forth. So, and you can read about that on our website. Then we have a book club. Once a year, we read a book. And Anne Lewis organized this, as she did the year before. And because we have a study on rural libraries going on this year, we decided to read the library book by Susan Orlean. And it was about the Los Angeles library fire. Here it was in all its glory. And here it was the day of the fire that started in the stacks. And it was the most catastrophic library fire in American history. So it was quite an interesting discussion. Then in February, on the 3rd of February, we had Brandon Chapman, who invited and coordinated with Amir Gilmore, who spoke about diversity, equity, and inclusion. He's the diversity equity person up at WSU. I forget his exact title, but he was just delightful. He was just, I think, engaging and inspiring. And one of his statements was, DEI may ruffle some feathers, but what is the quality of the people that you're ruffling? What is the quality of their being? In other words, if you can't put DEI in the center of your discussions, what's the quality of our being? And so he was really quite a philosopher, and I appreciated what he had to say. I learned a lot. And then we had another brown bag with Sue Durant. This was coordinated by Libby, and this is reflections on the Title IX, which we are now at 50 years after its passage. So it seemed appropriate that we would have Sue Durant come and speak to us. Sue we have these Title IX t-shirts, compliments of Sue Hintz, who somehow contacted somebody in athletics and got a whole pile of these shirts, and anybody that wanted one could get one. I know I've got one, and I've already worn it several times to watch things. So, Sue?
And I have some more just in case anybody wants one. Email me.
I would love one.
Send her an email. What is your email, Sue? Put it in the chat.
Sue Hintz at
Oh.
Gmail.
Oh, okay, that's easy enough. Okay, and put your size on there too. They run pretty big, I think. But anyhow, okay, so I think there's only medium and large. But I could be wrong. Maybe there's an X large. So you can see Sue Durant that lists the names of the women on the back that were in the lawsuit. Okay, oh, I think I lost a picture here. Anyway, we had Susan Daniels coordinated the discussion about public banks. What is a state bank? And public banking in a nutshell, public ownership, multiplies its own funding capacity. Profits are returned to the public treasury, more cost effective and efficient, funds projects in the public's interest, more direct in terms of transparency, oversight, and accountability. So we had Stony Bird, who's been kind of leading that discussion for the league, and it was an excellent presentation and is on our YouTube channel. And then this one was another wonderful presentation that was really well attended. We didn't have Annie at the beginning of it because she was busy doing her job as our coroner. So, but she did show up at the end. So it was really good. So Mike Burney is a counselor in town, and Corey Larity, how do you say this?
Lordy, yeah.
Lordy, okay.
Laffrey.
Laffrey.
It's Laffrey, yeah.
Laffrey, okay. He's a minister, and the three
Bruce
of them,
Federated Church, yeah.
and he's formed this task force on suicide prevention, intervention, and response. So very important topic and very well attended. And then we had Alice coordinated a presentation on rural libraries, evolving roles and new challenges, because we're doing a study on libraries again. And so we had Lorena O. English from WSU, Social Sciences and Governmental Information Librarian, Sherry Miller, who's the interim director of Whitman County Libraries, and Dan Owens from Neal Public Library, Adult Services Librarian. And it was really fascinating. Alice, is there anything you want to add to that? Okay, I think I'm not seeing Alice. She might have had to leave. Okay, so we'll move on.
I'm here.
Do you have
I'm
anything you
here.
want
I
to
was
add?
muted.
Okay,
I can tell you what we're doing at this point in about 2 minutes.
good.
The committee is still working. We've got most of the history worked out and written up. Some of the funding information, most of the funding information for Whitman is done. We're still working on Neal, and we'll be, I hope, interviewing the board of trustees or the chairs of the board of trustees. And there was one other thing, but anyway, learning about services that the libraries offer. And we hope to have all of this put together into something you can read in the fall and have a consensus meeting probably in November, because what we need to do with all this is discuss it and decide what we support or don't support and come up with some new positions. That next year at the annual meeting, we'll be voting on whether to accept or not.
Thank you.
I think that's about it. And except I should thank Ann Lewis and Kimberly Thompson and Karen Hardy, who are working with me on this.
Yes, thank you all. Good work. We had in April, we had a really good presentation about the Blue Basin Aquifer and Water Supply Alternatives Project. This was coordinated by Linus and Carolyn, and it was very well attended. People really care about this, and I went away from this inspired and hopeful that we're going to yeah, we're doing better, but do we still need to go on a water diet? Yes, we do. But the work they're doing is really great, and they're really professionals. So that was our programs. And then we had extracurricular activities because we weren't busy enough. So Linus, we thought, what could we do in terms of our libraries, because we like our libraries. And Linus, and how do we get the textbooks? So there's this wonderful textbook called The State We're In, Washington, right here, and there's the cover of it, and it is it's been written by the league, and there's not only one, but there's two. There's grades 3 to 5, and then grades 6 to 12. And the league began to realize that we haven't been teaching civics education adequately for the last 30 years. And so they started down this couple, I don't know, 5 years ago, working on these textbooks, and this is the result. And so we, Linus, actually, we bought the books, and Linus distributed them to Whitman County Libraries, 20 of them. And then there were 3 sets of textbooks of both age groups, given to the Pullman School District, Colfax schools, and Colton schools. So it was really a great thing to do. And again, some more of Carolyn's really interesting work. And the other thing that Carolyn set up, which I thought was fantastic, because we ended up with 2 students from WSU as new members, Diana Logan and Emily Rimbert. And so she'd been wanting to do a Fun Fact Friday, and so she put them on it. And Carolyn, do you want to talk about any of this?
Sure. Diane and Emily, they're both, well, Diane's at WSU and Emily's actually at U of I, but studying law. So that's really fun. So she's interested, of course, taking finals right now. They have been really great with giving me ideas of ways to say things towards the younger generation also. So I've been appreciating that. And we've just been trying to come up with ideas for every Friday and post. So if anybody has any suggestions, we're always open to suggestions, and we try to get it scheduled ahead of time so that they just automatically post on Friday. So
both those young women are Pullman High School grads, are they not?
Yes, they are. Yep.
They are.
Nice.
Yep.
So I found this one really fascinating. Muriel Faye Siebert. So for over a decade, she was the only woman among 1,365 men on the New York Stock Exchange. Those are some big shoulders to stand on. So we have Hedy Lamarr. She's an inventor. Who knew that? We only knew her as an actress. Naturalized American citizen of Ukraine and Austrian descent, but she was also the first woman inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame for her secret communication system, which allowed torpedoes to pass undetected by enemy warships. And there is her patent number. So very cool. In 1942, during World War II. And then we have Mae C. Jemison, first Black woman astronaut to travel into space. And she says, don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. We had another Fun Fact Friday. The original voting requirements of the 13 states. The original 13 states were male, 21 years of age, white, and a property owner. And then I liked this call out to Coach Pat Summit, who secured 1,098 wins in her 38-year career. Wow. And a huge advocate of Alzheimer's, of which she passed away from that disease. But here is this is Carolyn's opus. This is just a brilliant thing. We had these extra textbooks, And it's like, okay, so how do we want to sell them? How are we going to get rid of them? Carol goes, let's have an art contest and we'll give them away as prizes. And everybody goes, yeah, let's do that. And then we started thinking about it. It's like, I don't know if that's enough to get kids to submit to an art contest. So Sue Hens says, well, somebody said, well, we have enough money in the ed fund. We'll do $25 gift certificate. Sue Hens goes, oh, that's not enough. We've got to give them $50. I mean, these kids walked away wealthy. So, so thank you for all of your work putting this together. It was really, really fun. All of the advertisement that went with it. And this is, okay, so our prompt, what does democracy look like to you? And this is what democracy looks like to these artists. And they were just adorable, just such cute kids. And then I loved what Carolyn did is she made them talk about their art and what they were thinking. And Carolyn, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, no. It was amazing the things that they were saying, and I did not record it because I was the one talking with them. And we hoped that we had a newspaper representative there to document this event, but they were excited to hold a $50 bill. They're like, yay. And then the stories that they had, they will definitely, all of these will repeat again. They will do it next year. They're excited to do it again. Yeah.
And I didn't include the picture, but the parents were so proud of them.
Oh yeah.
They were it was really quite an inspiring afternoon. And so here are some of the winners. We had all kinds. We had a 3-dimensional model, which is a nest, and we hope we get to keep it. We liked it so well. And then we had a poem. And then we had wonderful pencil drawings. This one I thought was pretty profound. I mean, all these people, all these voices, and they're all redacted. So then we got Mickey Mouse ears. I don't know, just they had all of this meant so much. These drawings meant things to these kids, and they worked really hard on them. So it was a lot of fun. So we'll do more next year. Other things that we did for extracurricular fun was we wrote letters to the editor. This one on the left here is my letter is here, and then Zena Hartung from the Moscow League of Women Voters is here. And we felt that we had to write these letters because there had been a letter to the editor saying that the League of Women Voters was a partisan organization, and we could not let that stand. So we responded to that. Here was our Washington State redistricting commissioners. We wrote about redistricting lines in Eastern Washington. We wrote about supporting voting rights for all citizens. We were busy. So, here's our list. Here's our stats. We had 4 letters submitted based on League of Women Voter positions. So we had the State Redistricting Commission map comments, and we also testified over Zoom, and that was one long testimony. I mean, we didn't it was a long wait to be able to speak for 3 minutes. I started at 7. I got on late at 7. It started at 7. Everybody was in the queue before me, and I was the last one to speak at 11 o'clock, after 11 o'clock that night. Anyway, and then it went to court afterward anyway, so whatever. We had the letter to the editor, importance of nonpartisanship, letter to editor, community relief fund needs your help, letter to editor, support voting rights for all citizens, letter to editor, defenders of democracy. And this was our partnership with the Moscow League, and it's been a really great connection. We had 1 article submitted and printed in the League of Women Voters of Washington, the Voter. And this is League of Women Voters Pullman Board of the Whole.
Bobby, we should let our guests speak pretty soon. Are you just about to the end?
I am just about to the end.
Okay.
And the League of Women Voters made the front page in the Moscow Daily News 5 times. 2 photo ops were there, and 4 letters to editor, Zoom attendance. So we had, thanks to Libby, all these briefs advertising our programs. Zoom attendance 58, was at an all-time high with Bob Ferguson and a low of 17. So we averaged 37, and that's not bad. Art contest ads and 2 community updates. And our coordinator for the community update was Susan Daniels, and here's the 2 pages that we have in case you missed it. And then our brown bag, our upcoming brown bag will be next Tuesday. And I want to put upon advertisement for Aging in Place Beyond Grace, Tools for Right Sizing Life. This is Noelle Nicolai, one of our new members, and Paige Collins from the Council on Aging and Human Services. Noelle is the Center for Learning Innovation at Pullman Regional Hospital. These are things that are coming up. We talked about the council that some of us are going to, and then the convention is in Denver, Colorado, and those are the dates if anybody still is interested in going. Speak up. There's still time to register. And this is my last slide. You wanted to talk about May 24th board meeting. Is there any more with that?
So it's not a May, it is not a May 24th board meeting. It's a May 31st board meeting.
Oh, do I have the date wrong?
So I mean, there wasn't one necessarily going to happen in May. So yes, typically we're 4th Tuesday, but we had all spoken together, and May 31st is the day that we are going to hold one on Zoom. So there's a little bigger space between this meeting and the board meeting. It is going to be Zoom, and the plan is to ideally send out an agenda probably the Friday before the meeting, and then see if anyone has anything they want to add, and then the final agenda would then go out the Monday before. In addition to this, the summer meeting is also set, and that is going to be Thursday, July 21st at Mary's house. And that starts at 10 and normally goes through 1 where we have a lunch. So those 2 things, we'll send out different notices, but again, really hope people can attend the May 31st meeting as we get our feet wet in our new roles, and just, seek out what people are looking for and have a bit of information, so we can discuss upcoming council and convention and summer plans. So please come.
Did we set a 11 o'clock start for the planning meeting, or a 10 o'clock start?
It's a 10 o'clock start for the July 21st meeting. Unless Mary, correct me if I'm wrong with that, but that's what I understand.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
It's a 10 o'clock, so it goes 10 to what?
To 1.
Usually about 1, and then there's food there, so hopefully COVID will stop coming back up.
I'm gonna make those corrections, but I'm sorry, didn't mean to end so abruptly. I'll make those corrections. Okay. I think we're ready now. I think we're done with all of that. So thank you very much. And now we have special guest. Libby, do you want to take the lead?
I want to thank our special guests for your patience this evening. You've been waiting and waiting for your moment in the sun here. What we've agreed is that Becky Dubin and Megan Guido will each speak for 10 minutes about why they wanted to be on the city council and what their goals are for their terms. And then, so that'll be 20 minutes, and then we'll have 10 minutes for a Q&A from people who are in the audience. Please use the chat. As well as very brief introductions, I wanted to say that Megan Guido has a professional career in marketing communications for nonprofits and for the Pullman Regional Hospital. And she's always had a passion for politics and community engagement. She's lived in Pullman almost all of her life. Becky Dubin is a longtime resident of Pullman since 1996. She's worked at WSU and now employed by the Boylan College of Engineering and Architecture. And she's served the city working on committees like Parks and Rec Commission and the Friends of Neal Public Library. So I told them I'm just going to do a very brief introduction since it's now almost 8:35. So which of you would like to go first for your 10 minutes of speaking? doesn't matter to us.
Well, I think Becky and I agreed that I'm going to start, as I'm the more senior of the,
Okay.
by what, like a month or 3 weeks.
Okay, okay.
So thank you everyone for inviting both Becky and I as newcomers to City Council, newly elected. And just want to say, very impressive, all the work that the League is doing and working to make sure that democracy continues to be strong. So yeah, why did I run? Well, I made some big life decisions after working at the hospital for more than 20 years. I decided I really wanted to explore some different interests of mine. And one of them was politics. I got kind of talked into doing this by Debbie McNeil. And I think I always have been very, community minded, community focused, care a lot about Pullman, have lived here most of my life, feel like we do things well, but felt like we could do things better. And some of the things that got me interested was downtown revitalization, as well as more of a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Felt like the city needed to be looking at that. And then with the Black Lives Matter mural that did not go well, in my opinion, and the Arts Commission and some other things, it became clear to me that we could do some things better. So that's what motivated me. But I am very, very encouraged by the staff at the city. Have built some good relationships with them in a short amount of time, and they are very open to, I can speak for myself, my questions, and meeting regularly and understanding all the intricacies that come with running a city. And there is a lot to it. And from a procedural standpoint, I am learning that you can't always just go in there and think that you can make a lot of changes quickly, or there is a process, and it is there for a reason, and you do need to be aware of it and know how to work within the process, while also giving people an opportunity, obviously, to voice their opinion, which is so critical to the process. So those are some of the things that motivated me. I think you also wanted to know a little bit about what are some things of particular interest going forward. Two of those, or one of those rather, I mentioned around the work of downtown and revitalization, looking at maybe some ordinances that would help us with empty storefronts, design standards. And we are working with consultants that the city has hired to work on improvements for downtown, and making sure that we have community engagement along the road as we work on what we can do to improve the vitality, the look downtown, but also traffic flow, and just make it a more vibrant place. And then the second thing that I'm interested in working on, and am excited that we just published our goals, the city council did, and one of them was to look into housing affordability. Concerned about that in Pullman, as most of the nation and most cities across the country, but also small towns, around the need for more affordable housing, as we see our prices of housing here pretty high and hard to attain for not only low income people, but even, new time home buyers. So looking at putting an exploratory committee together that will look at what we can do to address affordable housing. So those are, I probably talked quite a bit there, but hopefully that gives you kind of an overview.
Yeah, it's perfect. You did great. Perfect time. Okay, Becky Dubin, your turn.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and talk to such a well-respected group and get to hear all the things that you have done in the past year coming out of a pandemic. It's really impressive. And I love this question, why did you run? Because I didn't. In fact, I've had some neighbors come up and say, did I miss that? I didn't see you on the ballot. And I wasn't on the ballot. Dan Records was the city council member for Ward 2, and I'm a huge fan of Dan Records. He worked for compliance and civil rights here at WSU, and he's an attorney, and I thought he was doing an amazing job, and I kept his phone nice and warm by calling him. I was really happy with that situation. And then when he announced that he was going to Western, a little bit devastated. I was, and also I had been a little bit concerned about what I perceived as a lack of civility on the city council, and I was concerned about who would step in Dan's place. So I reached out to him, and he said he would recommend me if I made a promise not to back out. And it's good he secured that promise up front, because it was a little tougher than I thought. As I look around the room, I recognize a lot of faces. And I know some of you might relate to this feeling of putting oneself out there all of a sudden and feeling like, oh no, what have I done? And I know that quite a few of you actually do that quite regularly. But for me, it was far more challenging than I expected. And when I sat for the interview, and as I was prepping for it, I became really aware, oh my gosh, I'm not really prepared for this. Like, how does one prepare to sit on city council? So having been selected, I will actually face re-election in November 23 because I was appointed. I go to the next, well, you all know that. Who am I talking to? But what became clear to me is, like, I served on the Parks and Rec Commission, and I worked with friends, and I volunteered, certainly not as much as I just look around the room, Bobby and Trish and Libby and all of you all. I had served, but I still wasn't ready. And one of the things I noticed as I was being interviewed, and I was just kind of looking across the councils, my goodness, we are very white. We are let's call us middle-aged. We are very middle-aged. We're very kind of middle class. I think we're all homeowners, and we're really, really fairly similar. And so what's become important to me is a clear pathway for a diversity of people to run for city council. We don't have tons of people who apply to be on our commissions, boards, and committees. And so I've been really working with people. In fact, one of the people who was in your year in review, Lorena O. English, will be put forward, I think, on the 24th, our meeting on the 24th, to serve on the planning committee. I take personal responsibility for that. Every great thing she does from this point forward on the planning committee, that's about me too. I take credit for all of that, but I'm really trying to find good people for these committees, boards, and commissions. And by good, I mean people who do their homework, and people who, when it gets tough and we get into conflict, they don't give up. So that's been a huge part for me. Diversity, equity, and inclusion has been a huge part. But Dan did a lot of that. Like, there's a new commission coming up. We've already got that. DEI training for city staff is a goal of ours for this coming year, as well as for city council. So we have all of that coming forward. Unlike Megan, this is why Megan served so much longer than I have, is that I didn't run. I didn't really make a decision to run. I made a decision to what did I decide? To serve, right? I did. I decided to serve, at least to apply to. And it happened very, very quickly. So, Trisha, you were mentioning, Mary, you mentioned about like kind of drinking from a fire hose. It's been intense. it's been pretty intense, but we do have some amazing, as Megan said, city staff. The council members are fantastic. And so I have been getting quite a tutorial on all of that. And that's, I guess that's kind of it,
Okay.
at least for me.
Thank you. Okay. Two very different perspectives, but both of you are so dynamic and well-spoken. Okay.
So I'd like to add one thing for Becky. There's a whole series about running for office that the league offers that you might want to, women in, I'll forward that link to you because it's all been recorded. Or
I
maybe
am
you
aware
don't.
of that. Thank you so much. I would love to get it. And as a new member, I feel like you should get it.
Well, if you're going to run a campaign.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
So do we have any questions in the chat or anybody have questions for? either
So
one?
Libby, I didn't put it in the chat, but just as Becky was speaking, I thought about the Human Rights Commission that I served on years ago. It was kind of a city-sponsored group, and I don't know what's become of it. Is it still active? Is the city still supporting it? If not, why not?
Yeah, I'm not aware of it. I don't believe we have something like that, but like Becky said, we do have in the works, and I think it's currently under development, the DEI, which might be something close to that. I know that Moscow City Council has a human rights commission.
Oh yeah, theirs is very, very robust
and active.
ours.
Yeah. So it's something, yeah, it's a great point, and we should be thinking about that as we develop that committee.
Yeah, I just looked it up really quickly. We don't have,
But we
it's
did.
not listed on the website, and I'm not sure why. I just got here, but I'm not sure why. But I think it's a really good point, Tricia. Even if the DEI commission does take that place, understanding the history of it and why it's no longer there, I think is pretty important.
Yeah.
We can dig into that and get back to you too.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
I too did not write this in the chat, but I always like to end with an uplifting message. But I hope you two new members have a way to get rid of certain eyesores on Main Street. I'll be very, very impressed.
Yeah.
Also a shout out to our newly hired executive director for the Downtown Association, whose name happens to be Holly Greystone. Isn't that a great name for Pullman?
Like the Greystone Church. Yeah, so that's a committee.
No relationship.
Right, that I sit on along with Councilwoman Eileen McCall. I'm the alternate, but I'm really encouraged by the symbiotic relationship there and the support between WSU, the Downtown Pullman Association, and the city of the DPA, the Downtown Pullman Association, which is a new organization, and really want to see us working together to improve downtown and move forward. So
Can't hear.
oh, did you lose me?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure who you were talking to, but anyway, she's a dynamic leader and will be great to work with. Everybody, you know, as someone who has lived here a long time, I think we've had different kind of fits and starts to trying to revitalize downtown. And this is the first time I really feel like there's a cohesive effort and some energy. And then I feel like this is we're gonna move forward, and all oars are in the water going the right direction.
That's good. That's good to hear, Megan. As was mentioned, I used to be the observer for the city council, and I can't remember how many meetings I went to when they were approving yet more money for another study and more money for another consultant and more. I mean, got to be,
Yeah,
I can be very
Yeah.
cynical. So I'm glad to hear that you have confidence that there's going to be some movement now.
yeah, people are ready, and it is one of the highest priorities by the city council, and we've got the right people looking at it. We're ready to do things a little differently and take some action.
Yeah, I want to echo that too. And there's been so much great work already done. The Pullman Civic Trust, you look at those trail, I mean, it's just really, we have so much that's already happened that's been done really well. And Libby, I hear you on the studies and the consultants, but one thing that's encouraged me, and I know this will speak to you too, is that now we're in a place where we're moving forward, making data-based decisions. You all remember the reverse angle parking?
Yeah.
I know, right? But they did that on purpose to get reaction. The study said this is the best, right? The safest way, fewer accidents, all of this. And so they tried it during the summer when there was fewer cars around, when there were. Hashtag people didn't like it. So they're not doing it. But like, this is something that the city has, I think, has done an amazing job of, is making sure that when they move forward, they do so, not because a few vocal people have spoken up or because this is what kind of a good old boy section feels like should happen, but that it's based on data and they get community input. And so I've been really greatly encouraged by that.
The sooner we can get rid of the wheat trucks downtown, the better off. And I know it's a huge undertaking, but it's difficult to even sit downtown and have coffee with somebody. You have to wait for the truck to go by, unless you're a good lip reader, to continue your conversation. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
But Libby, I want to caution you. Right now, they're looking at putting that over our greenway, over our path. So you'll have it over there instead.
So Bobby, that's one option that we are looking at. It's by no means a done deal. We haven't even gotten approval to study that as an option. So just want to caution that, that is just one of the options that we're looking at. The other one is being put forward by the county. And all things are being looked at.
Yeah, I want to that too. And there are reasons to kind of like the downtown one a little bit. And if they do anything to those paths, I will be shoulder to shoulder with you protesting that. Like, I think that is of great concern.
You know what? The paths are the best thing going in that downtown right now.
So lots of things up, and like Megan said, we really kind of need to go slow because we don't know yet what's best, because we are making database decisions.
Yeah.
All right. Any last minute questions for our newly elected council women? So are we moving towards an all women council like our neighboring
Why not?
city, Montreal, Idaho? Yeah.
We're really close, but Francis and Nathan may have some comments about that. So
yeah.
Well, thank you very much for it was really great. And thank you for sitting through our presentation of what we've been up to. But I honestly do believe that it was a really good as newbies, it was a good introduction.
Yeah.
So thank you. We are still under our time. We have precisely 7 more minutes. Is there anything else that anybody wanted to raise or bring up at this annual meeting?
I'm just hoping that all of you who came tonight will feel comfortable approaching either one or both of these new council members. You can see how informal they are and articulate. And when Dan and Brandon were first elected, we were still meeting at the Congregational Church. And I think that's how we felt after spending a noon hour with those two, that we'd feel comfortable calling either one on the phone and saying, what the heck's going on? Brandon happens to be my neighbor, so I was bugging him all the time. But it's so wonderful, I think, to have elected officials, male or female, who are open to listening and trying to answer questions, but mostly just being good listeners. I think it's so
Yeah.
important.
And
Absolutely.
I have no problem reaching out to Megan. We talk to each other quite a bit, and she is a wonderful listener. And Becky, I'm so glad to meet you. You've just got great energy, and I look forward to talking with you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you both.
Yep.
Well, Becky and I have become fast friends, and yeah, we're looking forward to working together. And by all means, we're always very willing to listen, have a cup of coffee, hear what you have to say. So,
Glass of wine,
glass of wine, absolutely.
flexible.
I want to also add that Megan does the annual report for Pullman 2040, which is I think a big undertaking. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Hopefully we put it to bed, and it's going to be out. I haven't heard, but yeah. And then I also work at the CCUCC Church, doing some of their outreach. So yeah, it's been great, and it's an exciting time for Pullman. I really think that we're going to see some changes, and I'm happy to be part of it.
We are too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to our guest speakers. Our time is up. Thank you for all of you that hung in there for our annual meeting, and thank you for a great year. Thank you for a great 3 years for the board and all the work that you've done. I have only admiration for you.
Thank
you, Bobby.
Thank
Good
you,
job,
Bob.
everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. We're leaving.
Oh, there he is. There's the man.